Salome. Um, Today I wanted to do my Bible study. Um, in response, well, I'm just doing a Bible study anyway, but also, I noticed last night that um, I got a visit from David Leva Hart's page that I've been running my mouth about lately. It's not really David, it's Jonah. The guy that I've been complaining about. And he responded some long thing. I didn't get to read it because apparently he deleted it before I could read what his response was. But he did actually say something halfway decent. Decent. His words. On one of my other videos unrelated to David, it was one of my songs where I asked for feedback at called Welcome to Memphis. It's a song that I just recently put together. And Jonah, although it's under David Leva Hart's channel, it's really Jonah, and said pretty decent. So he said something nice to me, even though I've been saying all these things. So, no, I don't feel bad because everything I'm saying is true, although he's trying to deny it, which he always denies everything that I say. And if it wasn't true, then why is David still struggling like he is? Why are things not better? That's all I want. That's what I'm saying here. I feel like Jonah, I don't know why he would have to say anything to me, but thank you for, but it actually, okay, it means a lot to me that he would even look at one of my videos. I'm sure he's just seeing what I had to say about him, and that one didn't have anything to say about him, and he actually had something nice to say. So thank you, Jonah, but we got some unfinished business, and I'm not going to go away. I'm not going to stop this. I'm not going to stop talking about this until something changes. If I'm misunderstanding things, then we need to work it out so that I'm not misunderstanding things, and David is happy and safe, because if David ain't happy, ain't nobody happy as far as I'm concerned, because I don't know why. I just care about him. I do. I've adopted him in my mind as a father figure. And when that happens, that's it. You're family. When you're family to me, you're family. And, whatever it takes, I do to protect my family. And if somebody in my family is under duress or in distress or is being upset in any kind of way. Well, not just upset. I mean, people get upset. It's not just being upset. But, if somebody is in danger or being oppressed or mistreated or abused, then, yeah, I'm going to intervene. It's just my nature. I can't help it. Sorry, that eye keeps itching. And I think my makeup's come off on there, so if I look weird, I'm sorry. But anyway, that has nothing to do with any of that. But I really hate having a beef with anyone, especially anything that has to do with David Jonah. I don't think that he ever was really a friend to me. I used to think we were friends, but now I realize I was probably just a pawn to help him do things for what he should have been doing himself as David's so-called manager or whatever that he likes to claim to be. I just look, Jonah, things aren't right between you guys, and there needs to be a shift in how your business model will just go. We'll just say that you need David, whether you agree or not. David needs accountability, and he needs someone to be a mediator between you guys, because there keeps on being this discrepancies that, David's saying one thing, you're saying another, and it looks like David's telling the truth as far as from everything I've seen and experienced. And I took up for you for almost a year, trying to tell David he misunderstood things and all this kind of stuff. I vouched for you when other people accused you of what I'm accusing you of. I stood up for you. And now I realize that I was those, just when I say these things and people, your little hench people, stand up for you and deny that, they don't know what they're talking about, because I didn't know what I was talking about. I believed you were really David's friend like you claim. And if you believe that, maybe in your own mind, you believe that is right, because you've justified it to yourself, but it's not. David has some serious problems. And if you're truly his friend, if you're truly a manager like you want to claim, which legally you're not, you don't have the credentials to be, but even as a business partner or concerned friend, David should not be having the issues that he's had over the past year, since 2019, since I've known you guys, since I've known David and he's been talking to me. David's been having problems that have just gotten worse and worse, never resolved, and you haven't stepped in to help. You barely lift a finger, and you complain and complain that David complains. But David's just complaining constantly about things that aren't getting handled. So it's not that David does complain a lot, okay? But a lot of what he's complaining about is legitimate when it comes to the things that I've been speaking about. All the little petty bullshit, I'm not concerned about. I know that David can be kind of a diva and very demanding and expect a lot of things that are pretty much impossible, very close to it, and waste a lot of time. And he doesn't understand. I know that it's frustrating, and you have to deal with a lot to deal with David. You're privileged to be able to have the relationship that you have with David, and I feel like you don't appreciate it. The conversations that I've had with you over the last year or so, there's always a derogatory, frustrated tone to when you speak about David. So, whatever is causing that, y'all need to deal with that and get it right. And because it's the right thing to do, and God sees. And you don't have to believe in God, Jonah. It doesn't matter. God believes in you because he created you. It doesn't matter if you believe. Doesn't matter if you believe in something. If it is, it is, and you will see. Sooner or later. I hope for your sake it's sooner than later, because it's going to be bad for you the more you keep doing David wrong, the more you do me wrong. And God has so many blessings for you if you do the right thing. So go into the light until we meet again, Jonah. That's what the Corinthians say again and again. As well as I do. Anyway, I'm going to end this note with, I just bought look at this Bible. I've had this Bible so long. It's just falling apart. I love this Bible so much. It's the Keyword Study Bible. It's got the key. You can look up the Hebrew and or Greek original scripts, that where, it's been translated from, so that you can translate it for yourself and not just rely on a translation, as well as it tells you the key word thing. It tells you all the places in the Bible where that same word in that used in that context it brings up other parts in the Bible where that's mentioned. So it just helps you have a deeper, richer understanding of the Bible. Me and David love doing Bible precepts. That's what we call it. I don't know what that word comes from, what that word really means, except to me it means, and I know to David it means looking up the actual scriptures of the what you're studying, and whether it's Greek or Hebrew, and picking it apart and truly understanding it for yourself, and not just relying on what other people's interpretations of stuff is. I don't believe you should ever just believe anything. You should look into everything that you take everything with a grain of salt. Always be open-minded that you could be wrong about anything. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, I was doing my. I bought two more of these, one for me and one for David, because I've been promising David I'd get him one of these keyword study Bibles so that we could do precepts together. So I was doing my Bible study, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this online because maybe somebody, maybe Jonah could be helped by it, or at least fair warning. Okay, because I am protected by God. David is protected by God. God protects his own. Now, doesn't mean that you can't be included in his own, but if you choose not to, I mean, it's a contract, he's not obligated to protect you the way he is obligated to protect his own. So if you mess with his own and you make yourself an enemy to him, it's not that God doesn't love you. It's just that, he's got to handle business for his own, because those are his kids. You're his child too, but you've been brainwashed and alienated from God, your father. You've been told that he's like this evil, abusive guy trying to not let you have fun and ruin your life, throwing lightning bolts down at you and making life suck for you unless you worship him and have a boring life that he controls. It's not like that. That is like some man-made system of government that man created using religion as the excuse, and that is not what God is and having a relationship with God is. David Liebehart understands that. I understand that. People who have a relationship with God understand that. If you don't understand that, doesn't mean God doesn't exist just because you don't understand that. Just because you don't have the relationship doesn't mean we don't. Anyhow, so I was looking, I was going to read from Luke about where it says, Luke 18:27. The devotional, the scripture, Luke 18:27. And he said, the things which are impossible with men are possible with God. That's something Jesus said. And I was going to go further into that using this Bible with the tools, looking at the scripture and that. But I noticed the earlier in chapter 18, the beginning, I feel like God really wanted me to see that and speak on that, because that's more relevant to me, because I've been thinking on the scripture lately and I wasn't sure where it was, and here it is. So it's the importunate widow, a lesson in prayer. This is why I say it's a warning to Jonah, okay? Because this is bothering me, and I'm his child. David is his child, and we're praying about this, that David be set free from the people that are controlling him and taking from him, and treating him the way they've been treating him, and praying that God will put him in a stable situation so that he can continue on with his mission to, spread joy through comedy and puppetry and music and entertainment, and share, share the word of God. That's what David believes his mission is. I believe his mission is just spreading light, sharing light. So if you're getting in the way of that, just fair warning, okay? It's not going to be good for you. And this is a parable that Jesus spoke, explaining just how serious it is. Even if I wasn't God's elect, even if I wasn't his own, I keep praying about this. God keeps praying about this. I keep having my mom pray about this. And oh man, I mean, if mama's praying, just forget it. It's done. God's going to handle it. So I'm petitioning and I'm petitioning and I'm petitioning. Other people are petitioning. Even if God didn't want to deal with you, which I know he does, it's just in his timing. It's like, man, you know what? I'm sick of hearing about this. Even if he wasn't even concerned, he's going to be concerned. God doesn't really work like that, I don't think. I think Jesus is just making this parable of why it's so important to pray and keep praying. Don't give up. Praying for the things that you hope for, because God will hear. Even if a faulty king who has no real justice or fear of God, even he eventually will wear down and give in to a request if you keep on, even by the lowliest of us, which I may be the lowliest, but nevertheless, God sees and God hears. Anyway, I'm going to read it now. Okay, verse 18, about the importunate widow. And he spake a parable, talking about Jesus, unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and not to faint, saying, there was in a city a judge, which feared not God, neither regarded man. There was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, avenge me of mine adversary. And he would not for a while, but afterward he said within himself, though I fear not God, nor regard man. In other words, he doesn't care about nothing, nobody. He didn't respect anybody. He doesn't respect God. But even though he doesn't, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me. And the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge saith. And shall not God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? So God's more just than this judge that's like, you know what? I don't even have respect for justice or God or but I don't want to hear this widow keep coming to me all the time. I'm going to go ahead and do what she's asking because I don't want to hear it. How much more will God? I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on earth? So that's just saying, don't give up. Even when the bad guys win. Jonah ain't won nothing. He ain't won nothing. He took down the only thing me and David had going that was helping him make an income outside of David, that Jonah wasn't controlling or actually that Jonah was getting half of it. But David was trying to make some money that he didn't have to make half of it, of the stuff that was not affiliated with Jonah, which most of it was. So, but anyway, he took it down out of spite and greed, I guess. It's like, nobody was hurting him. He just doesn't like, he didn't like our politics, which it's none of his business. He's just mad because we don't see things how he does, and he wants to censor everything that we say or do and the stuff that we do together. It's not his place. He's supposed to be doing his own thing, and me and David are supposed to be doing our own thing on a spiritual, our own little ministry thing that we were doing. And it kept getting Jonah kept dipping into our side, so I started dipping into his side, and then we're just butting heads. So I was on his team, so I'm not, I hate that we're at odds or whatever, but just so you know, Jonah, I'm not letting this go. I'm like a pit bull. Once I sink my teeth in, I do not let go until there's blood shed, and muscle ripped apart. So I mean that figuratively, although don't push me. If I have to defend myself, I'll mean it literally too. David tells me you're attached to the mafia, so bring it over here to Memphis. Let me see. I know that's some bullshit. I know that's not true. I would hope so. But if it is, bring it. I mean, either way, I don't give a fuck. Let's see. I got friends too. I don't need a gang. I'm not the type person that even needs to join some kind of special thing. I'm resourceful. I will find people, whatever I need, when I need it, as I need it, because the Lord provides. And if I'm caught off guard, I can't be caught off guard because the Lord protects me even when I'm caught off guard. When I'm wrong, he deals with me. And when I'm right, he deals with others who thwart me and try to cover up or, bring down what is right when I'm trying to build it up or expose it to the surface. So anyway, that's my response / Bible study. If you want to help David in any way, you can email me at dlhdadandlad@gmail.com. I will see to it that he gets the help directly. Either arrange it yourself with him, or I'll be the mediator. Either way. Or if you want to help support me in my efforts to help support David and get him in a more stable situation. I'm planning on going to LA and helping David get settled and situated and safe and happy, and set him up with a situation where he can start his own channel if he wants to, have his own outlet, get more control of his own career without Jonah's control, or at very least just make sure he's safe and set up with his Social Security, because he is at retirement age and in a safe situation. If he's having issues with his apartment, he really needs to get out of that apartment and into a better place. And I just have the burden in my heart that I want to make sure David is safe and happy in his older age as he's getting older in this scary time. So I don't think he really has anybody to rely on family-wise. And so I just want to look out for him and be there for him as he, needs, when he needs, so that he does have some support to fall back on should anything happen to him, as he's getting older. So anyway, I'm trying to make my way over there. So I'm trying to save up some money. My car got stolen um, recently, several months ago. So I need to get a new vehicle so I can make my way down there and get my ducks in a row. So anyhow, if you want to have anything kind to say, or want to send your financial support or anything like that, it doesn't have to be financial. It could just be saying, hey, I care about David, or I like what you had to say, or I hate your guts. I don't care. It's okay. I can take it. Whatever. I'd be interested to know what people have to say about all this stuff that I keep ranting about, involving David in this situation. I'm not going to give up until I know David's safe and sound. That's it. I don't care. Even if David were to tell me to stop, I'm not going to until, to me, that's like a hostage saying, I'm fine, everything's fine. No, not until I see for myself and I really know you're fine. I'm not going to leave this alone. My granddaddy was a chief of police and a private eye after that, and I've got that bloodhound thing in me too. And when I'm on a case, I can't let it go. I'm like Hank from Breaking Bad. I just like, no, I think David, I really am worried about David's well-being after hearing all the things that he's told me in the last year or so. That as a concerned citizen, as well as a fan, I can't let it go. I can't just ignore and just like, well, I hope it all works out. I have to know that it do what I can if at all possible, if that to do something. I feel like if something's in your path where someone's in need, I feel like God put that there for a reason. And even if all you can do is to pray, then maybe that's all there is. But God, God doesn't put it in front of you for no reason. Especially if it bothers you, it burdens your heart, it upsets you. That's God telling you, I know this is wrong. That's why I put it in your mind. I want I need your hands on earth to help me rectify this situation. Because we have free will, and there are humans on this earth that have the free will to help do bad. So God, because it's not that God is restrained, but he does have a contract that he's obligated to follow, and he can intervene, but he doesn't, because he signed a contract that he wouldn't, and he gives us free will. But for those of us who call on him and ask for the intervention under contract, he will and can do that, and he does. So that's what this is saying. I and David, we are the elect, and anyone who understands, who seeks the Creator's help, is of the elect. Because God, just the fact that you notice God, that in and of itself reconciles you to God. He's right there waiting for you to reach out to him. But mankind, we have evil hearts and we're awful, and he is tired of dealing with man. If you've noticed, that's why you don't see him around. It's been a while since Jesus has even been here, and even then, they hadn't. Very few people had experiences with God, real, God. Gods, little g. There were these abominable gods and goddesses, these Nephilim creatures on this earth that ruled over the earth before Jesus came down and got the ball rolling to set things straight and bring the Holy Spirit onto this earth that dwells in the hearts of the people who are God's elect. And I don't know how to explain that other than some people, God knows who chooses and who doesn't. God created a perfect world, but He gave us choice and free will, or it would not be true love and a true relationship if he just created automatons that didn't have a choice between, and they didn't know knowledge of good and evil. So God didn't give us the knowledge of good and evil that would taint us to be accountable for good and bad. He gave us that choice, and once we took that accountability, the knowledge of good and evil, then we are guilty by knowing the difference between good and bad. It's the knowing, the knowledge that makes us tainted. Because if you don't know that you're an error, you're not, it's not counted against you. Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe I'm rambling. All I'm saying is that there are reasons why some people reject God, and mankind has rejected God and defiled themselves, and God will not commune with that. But he loves he loves the creation that he made, and made a way to reconcile, even though he cannot commune with that tainted darkness that we have when we choose to be separate, to be our own God. I don't know if that makes sense, but you have to understand the context of the Great War in heaven. And if you don't believe in that, then you wouldn't understand. So I can't, you just have to read and study it and understand that a lot of different religions are explaining the same thing. And throughout history, and people that didn't have any physical connection to each other, or the modern means to communicate or discover each other's religions and thought, yet they were believing and depicting similar things. To me, that tells a story that there is a God and a creator, and there are heavenly beings. Some call them aliens, some call them angels, and some are demons. Anyway, that it's real. And it's not like a sci-fi movie, and a lot of Christians don't even believe in this stuff. I don't understand why. Well, I don't know. I don't know why. I think they've been purposely deceived to not take that seriously either. But I think that that's exactly what will deceive mankind, is instead of worshiping God, they're going to worship these aliens that are really the watchers that came down and procreated with man or women, and they gave birth to these abominable creatures that were half human, half more or half heavenly, celestial, whatever. They're all deep. The flood, and after the flood, the wars and things that many of the Jews themselves, as well as, or the Hebrews, as well as many of the Native Americans and other cultures, fought off these giants of the earth that rolled over them in a cruel way. And that's why people have this hang up against religion, because they think that's God. No, that's the way that the Nephilim and their and the Watchers, their parents, rule over us. They have dominion over the earth in ways that we don't understand. And that's how they rule over us. And God's trying to rescue us. They're like the ultimate alienating parent, the cruel, narcissistic parent that tells the kids that the other parent is bad, and just poisons them against the other parent who truly loves them. And that's how they get back at the other parent. Is the only way they can get back at the other parent is to steal their children from them and make their children believe things about them that aren't true and separate from them. That's basically what Satan, the main Lucifer, and his, fallen angels that joined him. That's all that they can do to, they can't hurt God. So the only way you can hurt God is to hurt the creation that he loves so much, or to turn them away from him. And at some point, God's got to cut the ones that have turned to darkness. And it's just like cancer cells. You can heal cancer cells and kill off the cancer, but if it's gotten too far gone, that cancer cell just needs to die off. Does that make sense? So it's like that. It's not that God sends people to hell. Hell is made for the fallen angels. But there comes a time, your life is, you're here to have to, God's using this time to find a way to reconcile with you. And these, demonic creatures are trying to steal you and distract you away from God and deceive you away from that and turn you to the dark side, literally. And there will come a point where God's going to have to cut it off, and you're going to be too dark, and you're going to have to go to the quarantine, it's hell, whatever you want to call it. It's not that God's mean and doesn't love you. It's that once you become the immortal being, he cannot let you come in dark and immortal. If you are not going to surrender to the light and allow the light to fill you, and you're going to go over to the darkness where there's death and end, because that's all Satan and his darkness has, then you're just going to fill the lust of the flesh, your carnal flesh, and that's all you live for. That's your reward. You're going to miss on the other side. And to me, that's what hell is, just the ultimate separation from the light. It must be must be the most horrible burning sensation you could have, I would imagine. Whether it's a literal lake of fire, or that's just a human perspective of what it would be like to be ultimately separated from God finally, because we have no idea what it's like to truly be separated from God, because even those people that aren't willingly following God are still influenced and given life by God right now. You would not be alive right now. God's still chasing you and saving you right now from things you don't even see, but there are active, dark, demonic beings that are trying to, there's a real war over your soul, all of us. And we have free will. What, how we're going to handle that and what we're going to do with that. Are we going to succumb to the darkness, or are we going to, because sometimes it feels good to, or are we going to sacrifice what we want here and now? I just mean like, sometimes it feels good to do the wrong thing, okay? Oftentimes where people wouldn't do it. So what I'm saying is, isn't it better to sacrifice that feeling good to do the things that we know drive us into addiction, or ultimately drive us away from God and separation from God? When eternity, to trade that for eternal fulfillment of the things that we are just trying to fill the void in unsatisfying ways here on earth. I don't know if I make sense there, or if I sound crazy. Didn't matter. I mean, John the Baptist sounded crazy. Jesus sounded crazy. All the people, all the geniuses of history sounded crazy to the people of their time. So, anyway, that's all I have to say for now. I'm just really rambling at this point. I don't know if that was fruitful for anyone, or uplifting or enlightening, or it's just crazy lady babble. But however you took it, thanks for for being here. Thanks for listening. Regardless, it helps me get this stuff off my chest, and I feel better, and feel like maybe somebody can relate, or somebody might have suggestions of how to deal with it, or might help me pray about the situation. If anything else, just having other people knowing about the situation who are spiritually connected, that will pray and help me appeal to God that he fix this, however it needs to be fixed, whether he heal the relationship that Jonah and David have, and Jonah and him work out their kinks and things go more fairly on David's end, or God finally separate the two, which is what David keeps telling me he wants to do, but he's afraid to separate. So it's like he says that's what he wants to do, but he never will do it. So is that really what he wants to do? I don't know. Maybe ultimately he really does want to heal things with Jonah. He just doesn't believe it's possible. But like my devotional with God, what is impossible for mortals is possible for God. So, I believe in that, because I've seen and experienced a lot of miracles in my life. Just having David leave a heart in my life is a miracle in and of itself. So, anyway, Salome, have a great day.